Childs, BBC News.
Well, live to Athens now, and Achilleos Topas is a reporter for Sky TV. Also in Athens, Panagiotis Dimitras, a Roma human rights campaigner. Both of you, thank you very much indeed. Achilleos, let me come to you first of all. Just how big is this story playing in Greece?
Well, hello, John, and thank you for having me on your program. It's very big news, given that the picture of the little girl known as Maria is splashed all over the front pages of all the newspapers, and you can get a fairly good idea of how big news it is just by looking at some of the British newspapers as well, who have given extensive coverage on this story.
And what does it tell us about the relationship that maybe the Greek state has with the Roma people?
Well, it's not the best of relationships. The Roma communities, they live in rundown and dilapidated areas, usually outside towns and cities. And it is true that there is a stereotypical image of them, which is not very positive, John. And this is down to the fact that they haven't done enough to help themselves as well. And what I mean by saying this is that they're heavily involved in drug dealing, they're heavily involved in stealing as well, and well, their way of life and their code of conduct is completely different by well, compared to most of the other Greeks.
Have you ever heard of a case like this before?
Never before. And if I could sum it up in terms of the reaction that this story has caused to the Greek society, I think I would sum it up in two words: shock and disbelief.
Panagiotis, let me come to you first of all. You heard there Achilleos saying that they are heavily involved in drug running. They live outside the mainstream of society. Would you accept that?
No, I would not. This is stereotyping, not confirmed by statistics. It's important that an hour ago the Greek police announced results of 5 raids in 5 major Roma communities in Athens and Thessaloniki, which are retaliatory after the recent events. And they arrested, I have it in front of me, 1 Roma for tax evasion and 5 Roma for being illegally in Greece because they were migrant Roma, and 1 Roma for some pending court decision, and only 2 involved in a case of an organized gang that they were searching over 2 or 3 weeks, after they have taken into police station 150 Roma, and they had checked 600 Roma. So you can see the terrorizing of every Roma to find only a couple of serious criminality cases, and the other, nothing really worth reporting. They could have also found them stealing electricity or not driving with a license because they cannot get it since they are illiterate.
Let me put that to Achilleos. You are stereotyping these people unfairly and incorrectly.
Well, that would well be the case, John. But then again, this is information coming to us by the police. And as far as the raids that the police have carried out over the past few hours in Roma settlements, I think this is more or less a follow-up by the police to see if there are more cases similar to the one that they uncovered on Friday.
So let me just go back to you. Panagiotis, don't you think there is something very strange about a blonde-haired, blue-eyed 4-year-old girl living in a Roma community who has no biological relationship to the people who claimed that they were her parents?
It is certainly very strange. It's very odd compared to what we know. And it concerns 1 Roma family. Actually, 1 family. Chasing all Roma families around Greece just because 1 Roma family has broken the law to an extent that we do not yet know. And it's very important to mention that we have no evidence yet, even for criminally charging for abduction, because we don't have somebody who claims that's my child and was abducted. What we have evidence of is that the child was not born into the family, and we have their claim, however serious it may be, that it was given to them by a family that didn't want it. It may not be true, but the people are innocent until proven guilty, and not the other way around. The problem with Greece and France and other European countries is that for Roma, they are guilty until proven innocent.
But do you think that there is something in the Roma community themselves that leads to that? Because they do live, I mean, physically, you heard Achilles saying that they live on the outside of a city. You know, they live in the small areas outside. That seems almost a metaphor for the way they live. They are on the edges of society, and therefore there is suspicion.
First of all, about half the Roma in Greece live outside. The other half live in the cities. The Farsala community where Maria lives, the 2 of the 5 communities raided today by police are integrated in their own specific neighborhoods. And secondly, those who live outside, and there was a wonderful article in the New York Times a few days ago, are people who have been marginalized and discriminated by the mainstream society. And of course, when you are marginalized, sometimes you have to resort to odd ways to find ways to survive, but these odd ways would not involve, except for a few cases, major criminality. And we have to take into consideration, we have to try to integrate the Roma so as to minimize criminality, minimize first marginalization and secondly the resulting criminality, not the other way around.
OK, listen, we have to leave it there. Both of you, very, very grateful for your time. Thank you very much for being with us here on the BBC. Thank you so much.